As the nation prepares for the Tropical Storm Bret, Nation News spoke to Kemar Saffrey, CEO of the Barbados Alliance and Homelessness, to discuss how his shelter will be helping the homeless.
The Barbados Alliance and Homelessness, as like any other tropical storm or any other natural disaster that we would have been faced with, is always ready and prepared for, because obviously we know when the hurricane season is, and we are here to serve the homeless community with our 90-bed facility. If they need to come off the streets early, they can have access to the shelter. We are ready for the ones that may not want to come off the street, and we have prep items for them. If we have, once the all clear is given, and if there need to be, we would then facilitate. But the shelter is open and is ready, and it's not just the only shelter that they can use as well. There are other shelters based on the category that they can access in and around Bridgetown. So persons, the general public, seeing a homeless person on the street can also send them to one of the public shelter. If they, and the closest, we always get to the closest shelter first for safety, and then they can make their way to us, or they can make their way to us before. But we are generally ready to go for the hurricane season. Our night shelter starts at 6, right, but we follow the Met office and the advice of the Met and the DEM, and once they change their prediction of the weather, then we act accordingly. And so right now we are only under watch, so we just wait. But we would notify staff that they have to come in a little earlier, so that if anything happens, we can start bringing in persons earlier. Tomorrow morning, based on the advisory again, we would make the decision if they continue into the shelter for the 24-hour, or if they would leave at the normal 7 a.m. So everything is based on advice from Met and advice from DEM as to how we proceed with the shelter in this particular time.
The shelter's been around for a while now. Would you guys still have to appeal to those in the surrounding areas to come to the shelter, or would they just know to come to the shelter now in times like this?
They would know to come to the shelter. I think we've been saying that long enough, and they know. We would have been here in COVID. We would have been here in the Le Soufrière volcano. We would have been here in Storm Kirk. So we would have been here for quite a while, that they would know that they could use the shelter. Obviously, there are some that are new to the streets, but the community is small. So we know that they will share the information. The ones that want to come will come. Sometimes the challenge is getting the information island-wide, because if somebody is in Oistins, obviously they would find it challenging to come to us, because the information of obviously how they receive the information may be different in Oistins as it relates to the weather, as it relates to other things. But there's still public shelters that they can access. So if you're in Oistins, or if you're in the whole town or the Dover area, you don't necessarily have to rush to get down here. You can know the public area, the public or the category types of shelters, and utilize them, because they are there for them as well.